Good morning, basketball world. This is the Raleigh Association podcast, and this is the Monday getting into Thanksgiving. It's Thanksgiving week, and I'm your host, Danny Thompson, checking in with you. Before we get into a crazy and busy weekend around the association, follow me on Twitter at Danny, D-A-N-N-Y, the number 3 Thompson on Twitter, as well as aroundtheassociation.com, as well as Beyond the Buzzers Facebook page was beyondthebuzzer.com. And also pages on Facebook as well too. Follow, subscribe to the Daily Show, which is Monday through Friday. The shows will be out between 6 and 7 p.m. 6 and 7 a.m. Eastern time. Follow the show on Spotify, on iHeartRadio, on iTunes, as well as Google Podcasts, Podomatic, and every other podcasting form you can find. So, crazy busy weekend in the NBA. We had multiple teams win both their games this weekend. 4 of the teams that were in action on Sunday took care of business over the weekend. Denver, the Clippers, Sacramento, Brooklyn, and Dallas all won their games, won 2 games over the weekend. And let's get into what you missed. So the big story of the weekend, I mean, we've been talking about this for the last couple nights, last couple episodes, actually. It's the Dallas Mavericks. Luka Doncic and his play has just been phenomenal. Dallas is now 11-5. They won both their games over the weekend. They took care of business on Friday night as they destroyed Cleveland, 143-101. Luka Doncic, 30 points, 14 assists, 7 rebounds. The game where Dallas basically blew out the Cavs from the start of the game, led it by as much as they were leading by over 40 in the majority of the second half. It was a blowout fest there. And then yesterday, on Sunday, they went to Houston, and like I said, Doncic, 41 points, 10 assists, 6 rebounds. In that game, they beat the Rockets by 14 on the road. Dallas is the third best team in the Western Conference at 11-5. They are streaking right now. Doncic is playing at a tremendously high level. They've been getting big numbers from Kristaps Porzingis. Porzingis yesterday, 23 points, 13 rebounds. Dorian Finney-Smith has been having some of his best basketball of his career. On Sunday, 12 points and 10 rebounds in the starting effort. And then on Friday, he had 10 points and 6 rebounds. You're getting contributions from almost everybody on the floor. And when you get contributions from different guys, it makes Doncic's job a lot easier. Tim Hardaway had 31 yesterday. They're moving him into the starting lineup. That's been a big change. They're getting Seth Curry back, and they're doing all this with Jalen Brunson being not 100%. And DeLon Wright had 9 points and 5 assists yesterday. This Dallas Mavericks team is not the team that everybody expected from the start of the season, and we've seen this. I didn't expect them. I expected them to be fighting for a playoff spot, but not be at this level early in the season. Other teams that went 2-0 this weekend. Let's talk about the Brooklyn Nets. The Nets are back to 500. They're 4-1 without Kyrie Irving in the starting lineup. 103-101. They beat the Knicks on Sunday, and then on Friday night, they took care of business against the they beat the Sacramento Kings on Friday night, 116-97 on Friday night. So they won both their games on Friday. I said the Kings were undefeated because I do apologize. Kings were 1-1 this weekend. Nets are 4-1 without Kyrie Irving. Spencer Dinwiddie's production has gone up. They found ways to score. Remember, Brooklyn doesn't have no Kyrie Irving and also no Karis LeVert. Dinwiddie had 30 points yesterday against the Knicks. He stepped into the big scoring role, and we all know Spencer Dinwiddie can get buckets. That's something we should, nobody in the league should ever have an issue with. He had 23 points and 7 rebounds on Friday night, but his usage has been so much better. His efficiency has been higher. And when Spencer Dinwiddie's getting everybody involved, this is a dangerous team. Jared Allen, 18 points and 10 rebounds that went over the Knicks. Taurean Prince, 14 points, 11 rebounds, and 5 assists. Like I said, the starters have been scoring. The Nets have been winning. But before I say the Nets are back and they can win without Kyrie Irving, remember, all 4 of those wins against teams that are under 500. Also, another team that went undefeated over the weekend was the LA Clippers. Clippers beat the Pelicans 134-109 on Sunday, and they beat the Rockets in a tremendously entertaining affair on Friday night. Clippers are just now getting everything back together. Montrezl Harrell, 34 points, 12 rebounds last night in their win over the Pelicans. They just outran the Pelicans up and down the court. Game was getting to be tight, a little bit tight in the fourth quarter. Harrell exploded. When you don't have an interior presence, no Derek Favors, Jackson Hayes is still a rookie, and Jaleel Okafor playing heavy minutes, playing minutes. Harold just had a field day. And really, the defensive effort on Friday night, down the stretch on James Harden and Russell Westbrook led to their victory as well, too. Some interesting theatrics with Patrick Beverley and Russell Westbrook in the game caused a little bit of fireworks. Denver also had an undefeated weekend. They took care of the Suns 116-104 on Sunday. And then Denver also won on Friday night, beating the Boston Celtics 96-92. Denver now on the season is 12-3. They do have the one of the best records in the second best record in the Western Conference behind the LA Lakers. So we caught you back up on an entire weekend in the NBA. So let's go over some things that, for the team that didn't win 2 games this weekend. Best game of the weekend, of course, for those who missed it, was out in Charlotte. Bulls beat the Hornets 116-115 on Saturday night. And it was, if you're a Hornets fan, it was a heartbreaking game. If you're a Bulls fan, you're wondering what happened. Most folks turned this game off when the Bulls were down 8 points with 47 seconds left to go in the game. Zach LaVine and company just went off throughout the fourth quarter. LaVine finished with a season high 49 points, was 1 3-pointer away from the NBA record. He had 13 of them. This is one day after the Bulls pulled LaVine after head coach Jim Boylan pulled LaVine after a poor defensive effort. And LaVine turns out the next night, shot 17 and 28 from the floor, 13 and 17 from the NBA's 3-point line, and he knocked down a stolen inbounds 3-pointer with 0.8 seconds left on his 13th 3-pointer to give the Bulls a victory. It's one of those games you had to watch. Like, me talking about that game just doesn't describe what happened. Kobe Bryant had 28 points in the game. It was a flurry. I guess the Bulls were down, you could even say 10 points with 5 points with 10 seconds left. Satoransky hit a 3-pointer to make it a 3-point game. The Hornets inbounded. They triple teamed Devontae Graham. Ryan Encarnacion tipped the ball away. Kobe White, both of them basically stole the ball from him and got LaVine in the corner. LaVine rolled around a curl and took an off-balance 3 to end the game. Bulls are now 6-11 on the season. So are the Hornets. The Hornets are actually playing some better basketball this season until over the weekend. All right. So let's get into the crazy week that is Monday. Monday's a shorter week because of the fact that Thanksgiving is on Thursday. Monday's games are going to be the fun games to watch out for on Monday night. The game of the night, like I mentioned on an article that is coming out today, you got 2 good games on Monday night. We'll go over both of them real quick. Sixers and Raptors. Listen, the 2 teams that in a rematch of last year's Eastern Conference Final. Game 7, Eastern Conference semifinals, the Kawhi Leonard shot game. This is the first time the Sixers have been back in the Air Canada Center. Good news for the Sixers is that a lot of those guys are no longer on the roster. No more Jimmy Butler, so on and so forth. Sixers are 11-5. They're getting back Josh Richardson, who had a tremendous game against his former team, the Miami Heat, on Saturday night. Raptors are 11-4, coming back home with the possibility of getting Serge Ibaka back in the lineup. He is questionable for the game on Monday night. They can definitely use him. Chris Boucher has been playing pretty well in his absence, but anytime you get one of your better players back, including a guy who rebounds and blocks shots, it is much necessary. Pascal Siakam has been phenomenal throughout the stretch, and Fred VanVleet is playing at an all-star level at guard. The Raptors are 11-4. The other game that should be really fun to watch will be on NBA TV. It's the NBA TV early game. You got the Bucks taking on the Jazz, 13-3 Bucks, 11-5 Jazz. The Bucks are the best team in the Eastern Conference. Giannis has just been doing Giannis things. And remember, the Bucks still don't have Chris Middleton in the lineup. He's still out for a few more weeks. They've been getting big contributions from guys like Eric Bledsoe, who's been playing like the contract that he was dished out. But remember, the Jazz beat the Bucks earlier in the season, and no team, if anybody can beat the Bucks, it is Utah Jazz. The Bucks have won 7 straight games since they lost to the Jazz on November 8th when Bogdanović had 3-pointer at the buzzer. The Bucks has been doing everything on the defensive end, only allowing 100.3 defensive rating, and really everything has been all about the smothering defense. 38 points allowed in the paint per game, forcing people just not to get the shots they're looking for, on top of the fact that they're scoring over 120 points a game during the stretch in November as well, too. And the best part about the Bucks is they're closing out games. They've had issues with closing games to start the season. Now they're closing out games. Best example was Saturday night. They took care of business over the Pistons by using a run in the fourth quarter, and the Pistons couldn't get back in the game. Giannis has had 16 straight double-doubles to start the season. The Jazz have, they played better. And the only question with the Jazz is that they just have to find consistency in winning games. The issue with the Jazz is the Jazz have the same issue the Bucks have been having with blowing leads in the fourth quarter. They've had issues. They had 3 of them, I think, so far in the last couple of games where they've had leads in the fourth quarter and let teams get back in it. Other games on Monday night, Brooklyn, I said the resurgent Brooklyn Nets take on the Cleveland Cavaliers. Brooklyn's won 4 of the last 5 games without Kyrie Irving. They won both their games over the weekend. This is the 3rd game of 4 nights for the Nets. We'll see how tired they are going with tired legs into Cleveland. Orlando and Detroit. Orlando played really well without Nikola Vucevic and Aaron Gordon on Saturday night, even though they fell short. Jonathan Isaac has best game of his career, 25 points, 11 rebounds, going against the Pistons team that should get Derrick Rose. They should get Blake Griffin back after missing their last contest on Saturday due to rest. This should be an interesting game. Can the Magic somehow keep Griffin and Andre Drummond off the boards against a depleted front line for the Magic? Pacers and Grizzlies. Pacers have been playing some really good basketball. Grizzlies have been very, very entertaining. They should have won that game on Saturday night at home. Could not find a way to beat the Lakers. That's why the Lakers are the best team in the NBA. Pacers are starting to find a little bit of health. They could even get Malcolm Brogdon back in the lineup tonight for them as well. 8-8 Timberwolves going against the Hawks. Hawks have been struggling since John Collins' suspension. It's really been a one-man show offensively with Trae Young. And with, Trae Young is putting up points. The Hawks have seemed to find issues trying to find ways to close out games. Timberwolves are at 500. They had a huge game the other night from Karl Anthony Towns. Keita Bates-Diop also has his best game of his career on Saturday. Timberwolves are 8-8. They gotta find ways to start stringing together some games because you don't want to get too far down in that Western Conference 7-8 spots. Celtics and Kings is a rematch of a game that happened last Sunday where the Kings beat the Celtics on the road. Kings beat the Celtics during the Celtics road trip. Celtics are back at home after a long West Coast road trip. Sacramento's still a little short-handed, and Boston will be without Kemba Walker again. Had a scary injury over the weekend. It wasn't a concussion. It was more of a neck injury, but it wasn't a concussion. He will be held out of this game, and could have been a lot worse. Expect Marcus Smart and Carson Edwards to definitely get a lot more usage in the offensive end, especially scoring-wise. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown also have to step up as well, too. The Charlotte Hornets and the Miami Heat take care of business in Miami, 7:30 NBA League Pass on Monday night. Hornets, like I said, had a heartbreaking loss at home to the Chicago Bulls on Saturday. Heat are peaking right now, playing some really, really good basketball. The question with Justice Winslow might be available. He's been out for the last 6 games due to concussion. Hopefully he makes a return for the Heat tonight. Hornets have got to find ways to close out games. They've just been really bad in the fourth quarter. And now you got to do a Bam Adebayo on the glass as well as tonight as well, too. Blazers, Bulls, once again, Bulls won that gifted game on Saturday night where they just basically took the game from the Hornets. Blazers are 5-12. The good news is they got Damian Lillard back. The bad news is on Saturday night, they just could not get it done. They lost to a Cavs team on the road at home, and Lillard played well. Carmelo Anthony's off to a pretty good start. Scoring, playing on both sides of the ball, playing really well for a guy that's missed almost a year and some change. We hopefully could get to see what the Bulls are going to do. Can they match that intensity and that like I said, that stroke they had? Well, now, mind you, they won't hit as many threes as they did because they set a franchise record on Saturday. Lakers, Spurs finally won a game. Ended the losing streak. Now you get the LA Lakers coming to town. Lakers are 14-2, the best record in the NBA. Spurs are 6-11. This should be an interesting affair. Up and down affair. Expect the Lakers to start running from the very beginning. And Anthony Davis and company and LeBron James James is probably potentially the MVP of the league right now. Anthony Davis is playing at a high level. We're going to see what they're going to get from other players as well, too. Late game on NBA TV, Thunder and Warriors. Well, the Warriors are 3-14. Thunder's 5-10. Unless you're a diehard fan of this game, you won't be staying up late. So follow me on Twitter at Danny D8NNY on Twitter, D8NNY number 3 Thompson on Twitter, as well as Around the Association on Facebook and on the website aroundtheassociation.com. I will preview the entire week as well too, to get you caught up on some of the games that you might want to be interested in watching before the Thanksgiving holiday. Also, subscribe to this podcast and hand it out to your friends. It is Thanksgiving. Give a wonderful gift. Something you listen to on lunch breaks, on road trips, and everything else as we get ready for the holiday weekend. Follow the show on Spreaker, Spotify, iTunes, Podomatic, Google Podcasts, every place you could think of podcasts, as well as Spreaker.com. Follow the podcast. So I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Don't forget, there's an NBA article coming out today about the week of the NBA, and we'll have some different stuff coming out the week. So this is Danny Thompson around the Association of the podcast. Catch you guys tomorrow. Peace.